So today I wanted to talk about the power of intention. So I'm going to show you right now. I am in beautiful Sedona. As you can see, the amazing vortices behind me, including Bell Rock. And yesterday I had a very mystical experience. And I wanted to share with you just the energy of intention. So yesterday I went to Bell Rock, which is, I'll show you again. It's that one right there. It's an incredibly powerful vortex. And I go there when I want to anchor in a new energy. I've come here for at least a month, maybe two, because I'm bringing in a new spirit in my life. So I talk a lot about subconscious work, clearing the subconscious, which is a necessary thing. Like every ancient mystery school taught ways to do that, right? You can only go as high as you go low. However, there is something very important to be said about the energy of a decision made with conviction. So for example, the decision that you are no longer going to abuse yourself and therefore choose abusive people in your life because it's a hologram. I am done with abusing myself. I am done with low self-belief. I am done with not trusting with doubting God, with not trusting the unknown. All those things make me feel like I'm small. And the truth is, we're all these enormous light beings. And as Ramana Maharshi said, we are, and this is the truth, we are unlimited consciousness, and then we take on the identity of the mind and we become limited, and we become so limited. It almost makes me cry. We become so limited to the point where we are living in a thumbtack compared to what we could be living. So I wanted to share with you the power of decision. If you feel overwhelmed with the idea of shadow work, or maybe you don't know, how to get really into it, I want to just share with you a tool that you can always have every single day of your life. And that is to make a decision to be so finished with your old identity and to call in a new spirit. So yesterday I went to Bell Rock and I took some objects that represented to me my biggest karmic thing, which is self-abuse. Self-abuse and therefore attracting abuse, low self-worth, low self-belief, and also getting lost in my environment, which is what I talk about a lot. It's the shadow of the empath. Because there's no self-esteem or self-belief, and because we've exiled our desires, we diffuse into the environment, and therefore we are even more susceptible to the conditioning, to the vibrations of the world, and therefore we get caught in the unconscious feminine, and we get lost in the world. So if somebody in unconscious masculine, they get lost in themselves and their story of themselves in this fictitious virtual reality of who they want to be seen as. Whereas the empath is more like, what am I? Who am I? What are my desires? Where am I? What do I even want? It's a totally different path and trajectory of healing. So I went there with these objects and I wrote a letter to God, with the land as my witness, with my star family as my witness, with, I just saw a little bunny, and two hummingbirds at the same time. And I told the universe that I am absolutely finished with self-abuse, with delusion. I had this pattern where no matter how bad something got, this kind of Piscean Disney princess thing inside me would say, oh, but I hope we can oh, this person like literally wants to destroy me, but I hope we can still be friends. I hope we can still be friends. And I feel like that's an innocent part of me that I love about myself, that I see through this bullshit. Like I see through the illusion of this world, and I feel my soul and I feel the love that I have for other souls, no matter what they've done in this world. But I've had trouble like acknowledging that, okay, but this physical world should be treated as real in a certain extent, because that's what your lesson is, right? You have to be attuned to what's going on in this world to actually get the message of what are you being asked to do. I know I can love everyone and be friends with everyone no matter what, but that's not my lesson. My lesson is to have the self-belief and self-respect to walk away from things that don't belong in my life. So I did this ritual yesterday and I had such intense conviction. Like I screamed at the top of my lungs. I was alone in the forest on a rock that I call a UFO rock. It has a literal throne at the top. It's just the perfect place to invoke a new spirit. I had the objects, I wrote the letter, I used the elements to activate the energy, and I gave those negative energies back to the earth to be frozen forever. And I literally felt the spirit of my new self come into my body. And when I say my new self, it's really my real self, right? My real self that knows I deserve love, my own love, that knows that I don't need to escape into fantasies to feel like I'm connected to something, that I can handle being alone. I can handle being the magician that goes into the forest to find her own magic. So that's what I did yesterday. I went into the forest and I found my own magic, like in such an amazing way. And my old self would have been so scared to like go completely alone, deep into the forest with nobody, on slippery rocks, and with bears and lions and all these things. But my spirit moved me there because I am so fucking done with my old self. And that's my message to you. How done are you with the old? How done are you with it? Because that's all it takes to bring in the new. I felt the spirit of my real self come into my body. It wasn't in my body. I just felt this new presence enter my body. And so all it takes is conviction and a decision. And I want you to realize that subconsciously, we are afraid of how quickly things can change because we are afraid of change. We don't believe we can handle change. Things can change in one instant, and really they always do. When something changes, it changed in an instant, didn't it? But your life, that classic meme, like you are one decision away from a completely different life. Use the power of conviction and intention to make that decision. That decision, the power of an intention that carries the energy of conviction, can move mountains, So I wanted to share this with you because apparently, look, I'm not a Kabbalah expert. I lived many lives as a Kabbalist. I'm half Jewish and I'm half, my mom doesn't practice anything, neither does my dad, but my mom's side is French and German, my dad's side is a Spanish Jew. So I carry like Christian mysticism and Judaic mysticism in my DNA. And so I resonate with it. And I love hearing the energy of the week, because whenever I hear somebody from a Kabbalistic perspective describing the energy of the week, it's always what I'm going through. So I'm so impressed with how the Kabbalists mapped out the year. And right now we're in a time called the Omer, which ends, I think, in next weekend, but the apex of the energy happens on the 31st of May, the evening of the 31st of May to June 1st. We literally download a new soul. We download a new soul based on the work we've done for the past 49 days, which that time The Omer is about you literally have the opportunity to heal all of your karma in those 49 days, complete your soul's correction. That's why those 49 days are always so intense. And I look back and like, I had fated meetings. I met certain people in the month of May. Like, there's something to it. There's something very intense to it. And so it's a very good opportunity to use the technology of intention and conviction to call in the new soul. The evening of the 31st, you will download a new soul based on what you did for the past 49 days. You still have a week, by the way. Get clear about who you are. Get clear about what you want. Get clear about the patterns that keep you trapped in the old. For me, again, one of my patterns that keeps me trapped in the old is this Disney princess like fantasy thing that my mind does. That's like literally in the past, somebody tried to physically harm me very badly. And like my mind would say, oh, but like, we can still be friends. Like we can still be, it's like this gaslighty Bambi. That is not love, by the way. However, I know that inside me, I do love everybody, like I said. So I love that part of myself, but I recognize, especially if you have a lot of Pisces in your chart, that delusional thing, right? This time can break delusions. Don't delude yourself anymore. You can love somebody's soul, but you can take at face value what's happening in this physical world to decide like that it doesn't belong in your life anymore. It really doesn't belong in your life anymore. And that ideology that we hear, and it's even a fact of quantum physics, like, well, if you appreciate someone and focus on their positive qualities, theoretically, the prostitute could turn into Mary Magdalene. The idea is that even the worst can transform into the best. However, if you know that that's a delusion of yours that you hide in, like, there's something in your life that you know you need to walk away from, but even spiritual ideas can feed into your delusions, now's a good time to shatter them. This is a time where literally delusions are being like heads are being cut off. Was it Saturn that just moved from Pisces to Aries? Pisces is Delulu sometimes, the shadow of Pisces. Aries is, okay, let's take action now. Let's take action that's in accordance with our highest excitement, with what we know we deserve. Stop floating into the past. So this is the energy that's current. I wanted to tell you, please, if you haven't tried ritual and conviction and intention, it's so incredibly powerful. It's a technology. You don't need to be in Bell Rock and Sedona. I'm just hardcore. I'm just hardcore. You can do it in your bedroom. You can light a candle. All it takes is a strong decision. So I love you. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful day.